Hey, we're Susie Edwards, Angie Robertson. These fireside chats are where we get real about what we're learning as we build tools and community for helping professionals who want to expand their toolbox. Whether you're a coach, a therapist, nutritionist, doctor, anyone who works with clients.
But here's our thing. We don't just talk about tools, we embody them first. We test them in our own lives, we share what actually works in the community, and then we bring that lived experience to our clients. So grab your coffee and let's dive in.
Hey, Angie.
Hey, Susie.
Hello, fireside chatters. We want to talk to everyone today about a masterclass that we have recorded. Sorry, I'm just trying to get focused in here because I'm so excited. I need to focus in on all you guys. We've shared 10 tips on how to read an initial assessment. I say
Well,
that, but
actually, well,
I was about
actually,
to
I was
say
gonna
that
say,
was the goal. That was the goal. But then we went over. We found, wow, look, there's 10 more tips. So we were having so much fun with this and didn't even realize that there's so much actual juice to be squeezed out of that initial assessment that we're going to make a part two to this masterclass. And we would love everyone to just come on in to join the community so you can get these recordings because we feel like it's gold. And we do wish that we had all these tips when we started because it would have been really helpful to decipher the data before starting with our clients.
yeah. I do think, yeah, I think that until we really tried to isolate it down to top 10, and then because there was so much gold in there, we said, why are we going to limit ourselves? But as we were preparing, it just made me realize like how much I think you and I do intuitively now
Yeah.
because we've done so much. So we've assessed so many things. And by the way, like, I'm not saying that we were great at this in the beginning. This has been a learned experience. We've really kind of learned how to look at assessments and make a plan. And by the way, I learned some tips that Susie added just in this masterclass. I was like, wow, wait, that's a great idea. So it's kind of like an intuitive process that we're trying to externalize for you all, but also there's new stuff I'm sure we'll learn in the next iteration. Like I said, I learned something from Susie, but I
Yeah.
do think is great.
Well, and then here's the thing is when we discuss in our community, that's when we talk to everybody else too. So you guys might have tips for us that you aren't in, blah, 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 that aren't in here either. Sorry, can't talk. And we'd love to know what your tips are. Even in your field, it might be different, but they could be very useful for us in our field. So I'm looking forward to that conversation as well.
Yes, I agree with you.
So, what we're going to do today is share one of those tips. And the tip that we want to share with you guys today is to use your gut feeling as data. So, that's something that, like, when you're going through your initial assessment, Angie and I talk a lot about how we have 12 areas or 12 questions that we ask. And part of our assessment is asking for the goal, the dream, in that specific area. And then asking for the current status in that area, your current status. So, reading those two things in 12 different areas as you're going through someone's life, you can get a sense of, oh, wait, even though they're talking about and wanting to work on career, as I'm reading this, I've got this gut feeling that it's really their relationship with time. Right. And that's really what they are needing to work on, but they're not able to see that. Or they really need to have a conversation with their boss, actually, and get some things cleared up. So, again, the truth is, when you're reading an assignment and you've got that gut feeling, it is a lot of your own expertise, a lot of maybe books you've read, work, things you've done, right, and gone through, other clients you've worked with. And because of that knowledge, as you read other people's assessment, you can what could be what should be worked on, right? So don't diminish that feeling because you have a lot of knowledge inside you. It isn't just like fluffy intuition. There's knowledge behind it as well. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that especially if you're newer to the practice of helping, whatever that is, you may doubt yourself a little bit and like have these thoughts about a direction that you want to go with someone or something that you're like, I want to know more about this. Or I really think that maybe this thing is going to make a difference. At the beginning, you might want to just make a little note, and maybe you're not like as quote unquote aggressive with your thought there or your gut. What I found though is that I had those little inklings. Maybe as a newer professional, I wasn't really going for it, but then later on I'm like, oh, I was right, or I was on to something. Even if I wasn't exactly right, I was on to something. And then I also think that the more you read assessments, the more you also can pick out things that are the hints for where you want to go, which kind of reinforces that gut feeling that you have. So I think it's all an experiment. It all does take time, but I do think that the tip to not discount your gut. I mean, this is going to be the thing that I think I might be bold in saying this, that does distinguish us from like AI and
Yeah.
like running this through like AI to be like, what are the main issues? I'm not saying that you should do that. Like, in fact, we've got something coming in the community to discuss how to use AI in coaching coming
Yep.
up and later in the first quarter. But this gut feeling and all of your own experiences and things that you bring to the table, definitely don't discount it.
Yeah, right. So I would say don't treat your gut feeling as the absolute truth, right? But as a strong hypothesis. So, like Angie said, just write it down at the top of your notes. Then, as you go back into the text, you can maybe even look for evidence or you can ask your client as well. And I do get a lot of my clients going, oh my gosh, like, right. I didn't even think of that. Right. So, again, you might be completely wrong. Who knows? Or you might see later as you start to unravel things like, oh, wow, she did have an inkling, right? She saw that or he saw that, right? So write down the note. You never know. You most likely will be going back to that, what you were thinking was what you should be working on. And
Perfect.
so,
I love it.
and I just said something that I just want to repeat, right? Is to don't worry about having that conversation as well with your client and just clear it up if you think you have a gut feeling about something too. Might as well just share that observation with your client too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. So I would say your intuition is your expertise speaking to you in shorthand and just write it down and use it as maybe a starting point for your investigation. And this was just one tip. So there are at the moment possibly 19. Come check us out, seercoach.com, and then we'll see you there.
Bye.